Today I had my first non-open mic show and it went rough. And the only significant crowd to speak of, spare to the other tables of 5 people total, was a large family dinner. Wherever you are as a comedian, if you are a comedian, get the F out of your town and perform for other people.
All the other comics like, conductor, we have a problem. Conductor, we have a problem.
And that's where I'm like,
conductor, we have a problem.
bro, you could tell whatever joke to whatever crowd.
You could.
If you're a strong enough, smart enough comedian. The beginning of a show is super important. The host and the first act set the complete tone of the show. This is, by your statement, your first non-open mic show. No need to try and assess whether there's a pattern from one data point. Let's move on to another segment we do here week to week in these Comedy Skreets. Dante and myself find whatever's active in the world of comedy online and we give our 2 cents. This week, no different. We're gonna start going to different sources, by the way, next week. We found a couple other sources, but this week, classic Reddit. Back to the stand-up Reddit board. This was posted by Burger King 4. Damn, the 4th one. We're close. We're close to the front of the line. BK, have it your way. Anyways, in these Comedy Skreets, ladies and gentlemen, this is the worst episode ever. You know what it is. Friggin' me and Dante, we give our 2 cents on whatever's talked about comedy-wise on the internet. We're on Reddit stand-up board. This was posted by Burger King 4.
That sounds like a Star Wars planet.
Did you hear of the Battle of Burger King 4? How do you handle a specific crowd? And this is the post. Today I had my first non-open mic show and it went rough. Just by luck of the draw, it was kind of a dead night in the bar and the only significant crowd to speak of, spare to the other tables of 5 people total, was a large family dinner. Oof, even just hearing that, my heart just shattered. You're doing a show and it's just a family dinner. Oh my God. In fairness to them, they clapped at every intermission and a few of the younger family members whooped every now and then. Other than that, they were a tough crowd. The bar had a rule of no crowd interaction, but the host had elicited that the group was there to celebrate a graduation. My material was not aimed at the demographic. My material is not outright political, but the context of my material definitely lets you know I'm a lib.
Political.
The material, wait. Oh, okay. The material has killed in front of young libs. Oh my God. But tonight I was dealt varying aged conservatives. They hated me and every other comic, spare one woman who, all credit to her, evoked sporadic laughter from the family. All of this to say, when I saw the other comics bombing, should I have pivoted to super PG material? Not that I had a ton of that anyways. Should I have addressed the elephant in the room? Any tips? Disclaimer, this is not blaming the crowd in any way. They shouldn't pity laugh. I just need to know how hard I should be trying to pivot in these situations. Do you want to start?
Yeah.
All right.
I just watched the Crave documentary, People of Comedy.
Salutes to
Kenny Robinson.
Kenny Robinson, ladies and gentlemen. Go watch People of Comedy on your streaming platform of, wait, I guess it's not of choice.
It's on Crave. Watch
it's on Crave.
Yeah. There's a segment where he's talking to Keisha.
Yeah.
And she was saying one of the big advices that Kenny gave her was to read the room. Right? And that you should always tailor your jokes to the room.
100%.
Because you can't be doing Nubian jokes and there's no Nubians in the crowd.
Yes. Well, I mean, you can if they work.
But like, you get what I'm saying.
But you have to tailor it to work.
It has to be tailored.
Yeah. Like, there has to be a part of you that knows, yes, okay, I have to edit. Yeah, I mean, I've experienced this so many times. It's just through trial and error. Mm-hmm. I think I've discussed this on the podcast before. Like, one of the things when I first started comedy is I always made a note to like just watch the opening of the show, mm-hmm, and get a read of the room. I didn't even know why at first, but then I grew to understand. It's like, well, you get the little nuances of the room, like how's the energy, like how do I have to do if the host isn't bringing them up? You know, like there's just so many variables. Mm-hmm. And obviously, the more you do it, the more you'll get a better sense of that. Yeah, I think this to him is the experience he's looking for, or her. I don't know. Burger King 4. I would imagine it's him. But it's what year is it? I don't know for sure, bro. It might be the Burger King queen.
I was gonna say no.
Burger King. Oh, this podcast is canceled, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it's a tough skill to learn, but one that you just kind of have to go through the motions.
Yeah.
There's something I wanted to say specifically, and I'm missing it. It's like my material is not outright political, but the context of my material definitely lets you know that I'm a lib. The material has killed in front of young libs, but tonight I was dealt varying aged conservatives. This is the point I want to hone in on this a little bit. Wherever you are as a comedian, if you are a comedian, get the F out of your town and perform for other people. Go where there's a different opinion. Go where there's a different culture. Go where there's just different. Especially if you're in a big town, I feel like you only get stronger when you start going to small towns, because small towns are completely different from big towns in terms of mentality even and culture.
Yep.
It's just more laid back. Usually when you're in a big town, like you'll tell a more bombastic, faster paced set.
Mm-hmm.
But when you like, it's just slowed down.
Tranquilo.
So it's like, and that's why I said what I said, like in terms of you could tell whatever joke, bro, you could tell whatever joke to whatever crowd. If you're a strong enough, smart enough comedian.
Yeah.
I've gotten away with stuff later in my career that I would have never even imagined would have worked.
Mm-hmm.
Like that barely worked in like black rooms, let alone I'm like getting old white people to tell. Like I remember one time I had this old British couple be like, "We're from England. You should come and visit and do comedy here." I'm like, dude, I just did the blackest set. Like it was like, but it like funny transcends. And if you have the ability to make it relatable, then I don't think it matters what the subject is. I think it matters how relatable you can get it or how well you can get it across to a crowd.
But even how well you can get it across comes with a specific kind of tuning towards the crowd.
Yes.
Because if you tune it, you'll be able to deliver to that crowd even better.
Even better. And I like the disclaimer at the end. This is not blaming the crowd. To go back to my comedy recap for a moment, like where I was saying,
the crowd's fault.
No, I didn't blame the crowd.
I don't know.
Like they were start stop, but that is a dynamic that most comedians, if not all, have experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it's a weird. Sometimes it is your fault, but sometimes it's absolutely not your fault. How do you gauge which one is the case right now?
Yeah.
And that's why I was the host, so I would put more blame on myself because I'm the one coming up in between all the comics.
All the other comics are like, "Conductor, we have a problem. Conductor, we have a problem."
And that's where I'm like,
"Conductor, we have a problem."
Like, it's not I have my suspicions, but it's not a matter of me blaming a comedian. I just think a certain style, like the beginning of a show is super important.
Yes.
The host and the first act set the complete tone of the show.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a great host and then a shitty first act, and it doesn't matter what the host does after. And I'm not saying that this is what happened.
Yeah.
Because everybody smashed on the show where I hosted. Or had great sets.
Mm-hmm.
But some people's energy is just different.
Yeah.
And like that's also the challenge of producing a show.
Yeah.
Where do you put who?
That's what I noticed when I was putting people on the show for the workshop.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, if I put this guy here and how does this guy's energy? I'm thinking of it like a DJ set, because I got to go from
the
this
flow,
one.
the transitions.
So exactly. How does this song lead into this song? You got to sprinkle in some
One
Pitbull.
bad note to just ruin the whole flow.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the whole night's ruined, even though it was just one moment.
Yeah.
Like there's a new...
At least you have to build it back up.
Which can be tough depending on how far into the show you are. Imagine you're about to bring up the headliner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But these are all variables that unless you do it, you won't... That's why you just have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So when this person is asking for advice, my advice would be to really analyze this night for yourself.
Yeah. Did you record your set?
Correct. Like it will happen again, Burger King 4.
Yep.
Burger King 4. Let's read some of these comments. Do you want to pick one that you're into, or?
I mean, this one seems. This is also first non-open mic show, so they're still new.
Okay. This is by your statement, your first non-open mic show. No need to try and assess whether there's a pattern from one data point. Good point. Yeah. Especially when the data point consists of an audience mainly there to celebrate an event that wasn't the comedy show. This is not to say there can't be anything you can learn from one rough show. There is. You're learning it. Oh, bro, this is, sure. In the future, if you think you have material that the crowd will like more, go ahead and do it. And sure, naming the elephant in the room can help sometimes. This is one way that it can go. Next time something like this happens, you'll be one data point more prepared. Next time something else happens, you'll learn from that also. You win some, you learn some. This was your first show. You'll likely have many more. Good luck. This was posted by my QKA plan. My QKA plan? I'm old, nigga. So this means something? I don't know what that means, but my shout outs to that person for having
Mike a plan.
Yeah. My QK plan. My QKA plan.
No, Mike.
Oh, Mike
Kaplan.
Mike Kaplan.
Yeah, or Kaplan.
Kaplan is a name.
Mike Kaplan.
Reddit's flipping weird, but but that's the whole internet anyways. Who cares? Let's scroll down. You want to pick one?
Sure. Probably by keeping the word count to a minimum. I'm a one-liner if you'd believe it. No reason you should.
Huh.
Oh, here's something, because I just learned this I would say this show kind of falls into that genre of ambush, to where the crowd is there for something else, and then there just happens to be
the worst.
There just
nothing makes me feel worse as a comic and for the audience.
Yeah.
Than when you pull up to a spot. But like again, I'm not like entrenched in this space anymore, thankfully. Like
but that's kind of seems like the situation, because they're at a bar, people are celebrating something else, and then there just happens to be a comedy show going on.
Yeah, it's tough. That's always just so tough. Because it's never a good. It's never good.
Patrice O'Neill once said something like, "If I'm going down, you're all going down with me. If the audience sucks, call them out, or just stick to your material, and the hell with them. The next mic will be better, hopefully."
I think I said this in the last like 3-4 episodes. This exact quote from Patrice.
I just heard it.
If I bomb, we all bomb.
I'm taking my 2 grenades.
Yeah, but I think that's also a little too far for where this person's at from my first show.
Yeah.
Don't go to Patrice for after your first show. Go after you've been in a bit and you've gotten frustrated and you're like, why is this industry so weird and lame? He will break it down for you in a very bombastic way.
Should I address the elephant in the room?
Like again, I don't think you're a strong enough comic to do that. You probably would have made it worse.
Yeah.
By being like, this is awkward, isn't it? Well, okay, now you've addressed that it's awkward. How are you, funny man, going to make it not awkward?
Yeah.
Because when you do that, you kind of have to have a solution.
Yeah.
You've pointed out the problem, which we all know in the back of our mind.
Yeah.
But now it's like, oh, then you must be really good because you have a way out.
Yeah. As they say in Andor, know your way out before you go in.
The comedy rebellion was built on hope. All right,
it's built on jokes.
It's built on jokes.
Hey, it's Hen Dog.
Black Zeus the Podcast Season 6, featuring Black Zeus and Dante, aka Black Zeus on YouTube, Patreon, and Instagram.